Well, for further analysis, we're joined by Omar Nashabe. He's a former advisor to the Lebanese Interior Minister and a criminal justice analyst. Thank you so much for coming on the News Hour. All right, then, what's your take? Are we going to get a ceasefire? Could it be today or this week?
Well, hopefully, we absolutely need a ceasefire immediately. We have hundreds of thousands of people who are displaced. And, you know, the winter started here, and many of the displaced are in mountainous areas. And it was a freezing night, and it's tough on children, on all these people who lost their homes. They didn't only lose their homes in the south or in the Bekaa, but they also lost their homes in the southern suburbs.
But you think essentially what you're saying is that Hezbollah and the Lebanese government are incentivized to agree to something because of the pressures of displacement from the population?
I think the Lebanese government and Hezbollah through Nabih Berri have approved the application of Resolution 1701 from the beginning. It is the Israelis who were placing the obstacles. And now after this weekend, where there was a heavy bombing on Tel Aviv and on the military bases and areas deep inside Israel, I think the Israelis are under a lot of pressure, and they have realized that they have not succeeded in achieving the war objectives that they had announced. They wanted to, destroy the capacity of Hezbollah to actually bomb the northern part of occupied Palestine. They are not able to achieve this objective, and it's futile. They cannot go on with this war. They are under, Netanyahu is under so much pressure, also regional pressure, international pressure, internal pressure, as your correspondent just explained, and therefore he is forced to actually sit on the negotiating table and agree. The Lebanese government's official position is the deployment of the army in the south of Lebanon. The army doesn't have that capacity, so because the Western powers, the French, the British, the Americans, have been blocking arming the Lebanese army, so the Lebanese army doesn't have enough army or capacity to actually deploy. The Lebanese government is working on that to get the support, and I think it will get also regional support from friends in the region, so that the Lebanese army has the capacity to defend the south and to actually preserve Lebanese sovereignty. The Lebanese sovereignty is an essential principle and demand by the Lebanese government,
yes,
and it is in international law and in Resolution 1701.
Yes, and on that, Israel seems, if we think about what's been agreed, Israel seems to still want to have the ability to intervene militarily in Lebanon, even if it does get this ceasefire proposal, asking, from what the reports in the media suggest, for some kind of letter from the United States, essentially allowing them to do that. Is that going to be acceptable to Hezbollah and the Lebanese government then? Because isn't that in and of itself an infringement of Lebanese sovereignty? And wouldn't it make the ceasefire deal a little one-sided?
Exactly. Well, this was the demand, and this continues to be the demand in Israeli news outlets, that they are talking about this demand. And Lebanon, of course, opposes this demand because it's against international law. It is, and it's counterproductive. But I think that if the Israelis actually absolutely, this is my analysis on that, if the Israelis are insisting on that, and if they cannot actually get an approval for a ceasefire without that, then let it be reciprocal. As Israel has the right to defend itself, Lebanon has also the right to defend itself. So Lebanon will preserve the right of the resistance to actually act in self-defense if it is aggressed by the Israelis. That could be something that could be put on the table. Of course, it will put the Israelis in a difficult position. In fact, Israel is already in a difficult position because Netanyahu cannot convince the settlers from the northern part of occupied Palestine that they will be returned safely and they will be guaranteed they won't be bombed. If Lebanon will be aggressed by the Israelis, then the settlements in northern part of occupied Palestine will also be bombed. And that could be something, any ceasefire will have to be balanced. There is no ceasefire, if there is no balance. And that's why I said at the beginning that the Israelis are willing to accept a ceasefire because they realized that they couldn't incapacitate Hezbollah. They couldn't weaken Hezbollah. Hezbollah still has the full capacity to bomb despite the fact that there's so much destruction in Lebanon. It's the same thing in Gaza. This Israeli mentality that they can destroy the resistance is a failure, is a total failure. They can destroy towns and villages. They can bomb hospitals and kill people. But I don't think they can can destroy the capacity of the people of that land to defend themselves.
Okay, Omar Nashabe, thank you so much for joining us on TRT World. Much appreciated.